Sweden and Finland obviously getting into NATO or wanting to get into NATO right now. What do you think that membership is going to mean for Sweden, cybersecurity-wise?
And I think we always have to be prepared when we take defensive actions, right? Even those that are the most necessary can be seen by adversaries as offensive in nature, or to reinforce the perception that a wholly defensive alliance is designed to be encircling. So we have to be prepared that even as we're taking these defensive measures on a national level, individually, companies have to be prepared for heightened cyber activity, right? So they need to make sure that they are themselves getting prepared. And as good as their defenses are now and their response capabilities are now, take a look at them again and probably up them even further.
You've dealt with Russia before. You investigated Russian interference with the American elections. The tactics of Russia in cybersecurity area, has it changed over the years, and what can we expect?
Well, I think early on, right, Russia really invested in disinformation, right, which was designed, of course, to cleave alliances, to break them apart. Now we're seeing the exact opposite because of Russian kinetic activity, right, in Ukraine. We're seeing that strategy seemingly backfire, right? And Sweden's, efforts to join NATO are a prime example of that. Now, will that mean that Russia will scale back its information campaigns? Probably not, right? Will it mean that Russia is going to take more active, destabilizing, debilitating cyber attacks? Possibly, because they realize that the more they press, the more people push back. But I would still rely less on that hope and more on the preparedness of really shoring up every company's cybersecurity defenses and response capability, even those that don't have a lot of personal data, because a lot of times people think cyber attacks are about personal data. No, as we're seeing, they're a lot of times about critical infrastructure, about the supply chain, about manufacturing. So all companies have an important role to play.
You're in Sweden now, obviously meeting Swedish companies. How well prepared do you think Swedish private sector companies are?
Look, Sweden is very tech forward, very tech savvy, and I've been very impressed with their awareness of the risk and what they're thinking about and what they're doing. But again, the threat keeps changing, the threat keeps evolving, and the threat, unfortunately, continues to get worse. So as much as the threat environment changes, as well as the regulatory environment and expectations are changing, companies have to change with that. And it's really, we talk a lot about the culture of cybersecurity. It's not a one and done. And unfortunately, we have to always keep looking back and saying, hey, can we do better? Still an efficient way, right? The job of Swedish companies like American companies is not to be cyber secure, it's to do business. But we need to strike that balance and make sure that we have sufficient resiliency.